How's it going, everybody? Jared Lutz here, back again with some brand new Diablo IV details. Game Informer released their newest magazine today, sporting some really sick Diablo IV art, as well as a multiple page long look at the game, primarily its endgame systems. Similar to how we recently got the official Into the Endgame video that we covered a few days ago, be sure to check that out if you missed it. We essentially go over that entire video and break down all the known endgame systems. Right now, however, we're going to talk about the few details coming from this article that are new, or at least new accents to what we talked about in our last video. Some extra details on Nightmare Dungeons, the PvP Fields of Hatred, Paragon Boards, the Overworld, and even the Battle Pass. I'll also leave a link to the free version of the Game Informer magazine so you can read it in its entirety for yourself if you want. Let's dive in. First off, we did get another confirmation that post-launch content or seasons in Diablo IV will come every 3 months, unlike Diablo III seasons that are kinda random and have just varying lengths and release windows. These seasons will, quote, consist of new storylines tied to fresh mechanics and features. A seasonal battle pass accompanies these updates, which come in both free and premium paid tiers, the latter of which offers more valuable rewards for completing activities. Now, half of this quote sounds promising, the first half. I'm a bit worried about the second half. We already knew that there would be free and paid tiers on the Battle Pass, but getting, quote, more valuable rewards when completing activities if you have the paid tier could be taken multiple ways. This could potentially mean that upon completing activities, you're rewarded with XP for the Battle Pass, and that XP gets you more rewards like cosmetics, etc., because you simply have the paid premium pass. But how it reads, at least to me, is very different. It reads that because you paid $10 or whatever for the pass, you're going to get better rewards for your character, i.e. better loot, when completing activities. And that is definitely skirting the pay to win theme, or at least pay to progress. Blizzard has said in the past that there won't be any pay to win systems in Diablo IV. Unfortunately, pay to win is more of an opinion nowadays, as companies seem to stretch the meaning to fit what they believe pay to win is, so they can sneak in some systems that lie on the very edge of pay to win and keep their promise. Let me know what you think this means. Maybe I'm taking it the wrong way. Honestly, I'd love to be wrong here. Moving on, we got some new screenshots of Paragon Boards that show off some more details and UI. It looks like there will be a board selection menu that you can open up to switch between your active boards and also show you information about each one. For example, this board information here shows the legendary node it has, this being Frigid Fate, where dealing damage to vulnerable enemies increases your lucky hit chance by 1% for 5 seconds, up to 15%. It also shows all the active rare nodes. The ones we see are Restorative, which is 4% max life and plus 4% potion healing, Advantage, 12% cold resist, 5% lucky hit chance, Chilling, 12% cold resist plus 10 intelligence, Weakness, plus 10% vulnerable damage, plus 10 intelligence, and Guarded, 12% cold resist and 4% damage reduction. Obviously, this character is speccing into cold resist. We also see a socketed glyph, which is bestowing added bonuses to the surrounding nodes displayed by this shaded red area. We have another screenshot showing this off, as well as another new legendary node. Also, ignore the quality here. Game Informer didn't have a high-res version of this image for some reason, but this legendary node is Burning Instinct, where your burning damage is increased by 40% of your critical strike damage, further increased by 5% for every 20 intelligence you have. We also see yellow glyphs here instead of the blue ones we've seen in previous Paragon boards. These are probably rare glyphs, while the blue ones are more common magic glyphs, with the rare ones providing more benefit, as well as being able to cover a larger amount of nodes. As far as what everything means here in terms of nodes and glyphs and sockets, we went over all of that in our endgame breakdown video. It's a lot of info and it was a lot of editing, so if you don't know everything about Paragon Boards, that video will get you caught up. Next, we got some extra details on Helltides. These endgame zones that are spread throughout Sanctuary will feature deadlier enemies spawn within their borders, which we already knew. But not only will these monsters be much stronger, they will also have brand new attack patterns and, quote, other tricks up their sleeves. Helltides also will be occurring at multiple places at once, all on a set schedule, roughly every hour. That way you can prepare for a Helltide beforehand. Although Helltide events events will end when their time is up or when a player or players complete the tasks within them. It's also stated that these are very difficult zones and the difficulty and how they play out will vary depending on your build. Alright, more info on Nightmare Dungeons. It has been confirmed that Nightmare Dungeon rewards are higher rarity loot and more powerful sigils for other dungeons. That way you'll be able to chain farm Nightmare Dungeons as you can get sigils as rewards. We also got some more examples of Nightmare Dungeon affixes you might come across. One being an affix that makes a quote, sentient pillar of lightning infused stone chase after you throughout the entirety of the dungeon. This stone will keep dealing damage to you and you can't stun or kill it. And while playing with other people, the stone will alternate between who it chases. Another example is an affix that adds a shade that follows you, and once it catches you, it obscures your vision and summons monsters. These, in combination with the Hellgate one we talked about in our last video, make it seem like these dungeons will have a pretty good amount of unique variety to them. I'm really liking how these few affixes sound a lot. Now, we can't forget about the PvP Fields of Hatred. We got some info that I can't remember if it's been public or not already, but we'll touch on it anyways. While you're in the Fields of Hatred attempting to gather and purify some shards, you can slay other players and they'll drop any shards they were carrying, but they'll also drop their ears, which you can pick up, harkening back to the old games. After killing an apparently large number of players and growing your own personal ear collection, you'll turn into a Vessel of Hatred. This basically alerts players of your status and gives everyone a bounty to hunt you down. You're incentivized to do this because eliminating you earns them red dust, which is a currency used to purchase cosmetics back at town. But if a Vessel of Hatred ends up surviving, they'll also be heavily rewarded. We also learn that, quote, the studio has safeguards to prevent friend groups from farming the system by having them slaughter each other, become wanted, kill that person, get rewarded, rinse and repeat. I personally can't wait to wear everyone's ears around my neck. Lastly, while talking about the Whispers of the Dead bounty system, the studio mentions that they want this system to encourage players to revisit other areas of the game because some previous areas will change throughout the course of certain events in the campaign. Sometimes previously locked off or blocked areas will become unblocked, or a new dungeon will be available, or new different enemies will be inhabiting that place that weren't there before. This is pretty dope. I guess I didn't really think that the campaign's events would alter the world, especially what enemies spawn where, but it's definitely a super cool detail that I wanted to point out that I wasn't sure if we've heard before. And that wraps up any new info we got from Game Informer's article. Once again, I'll have the article linked below so you can check it out. I do recommend giving it a read, as Marcus Stewart, the writer of this piece, did a fantastic job covering pretty much everything we know about D4's Endgame to date, plus the art is stunning, so go give it a look. Soon I'll be posting some videos of my thoughts on the beta. I know it's kind of late to be doing that, but I do want to talk about some things I've got strong opinions on, kind of get a feel for how you folks felt about the betas, things like that. Then sprinkled in between those videos, I also plan to do deep dives into the game's systems, mostly to help new players get a handle on what Diablo is and how it plays. So subscribe if any of that tickles your fancy. Thank you so much for watching. I don't have an outro yet, so this is really it. It's kind of awkward. You can leave now. Okay, bye.